This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Funny, I'm actually planning my escape as we speak. I started it this week.
Hello, I'm your host, Les Bubka. Welcome to Anxious Black Belt, a podcast that focuses on karate, mental health, and everything in between. If you enjoy our content and would like to support us, best way to do that is to listen to another episode, share with your friends, and leave us a review. All this stuff helps the mysterious algorithm to introduce our podcast to new audience. Thank you for joining me, and let's listen to the episode. Welcome back, Troy.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's good to be back.
How are you doing?
Really, really good. I'm actually excited to have a chat with you about everything that you've been doing, because it looks like you're doing heaps.
It's the same looking from my side when I look at you. Last time when we spoke, you just finished your recording the traveling around the world, and now you're a TikTok star with what 64,000 people chasing you now.
Yeah, something like that. It's funny. I'm actually planning my escape as we speak. I started it this week, and I've actually been asked to go on some pretty big podcasts. In the same week, I decided to start scaling it back a little bit. So the universe might be trying to tell me something.
Yeah, keep going, because you do a spectacular job, and I really kind of try to steal as much as I can from your approach. In I don't feel that I'm coming across as confident as you are talking about mental health, but I'm trying to do my best in my little bubble. So it's nice to see how you exploded and how positive your responses are, and your content is. So well done there.
Yeah, thanks heaps. And it's funny you say that, because I'm actually looking at what you're doing and thinking, wow, I wish I was a bit more professional and was able to do that sort of stuff.
It's funny how that comes across. I was speaking yesterday with my friend from New Zealand, and we had a pretty similar conversation. Like, oh, I really love what you're doing. No, I like what you're doing. You're doing much better. No, you're doing better. I think we are just very critical on ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that it's that childhood conditioning that, when we grow up thinking negatively about ourselves, it just affects and seeps into everything in our own lives. Even though we're aware of it, we've got to check ourselves all the time to make sure that, it doesn't seep in. I'm actually doing a in class on Friday with all the guys. We're doing some board breaking. They don't know it yet, but we're going to be writing down our limiting beliefs on the board. Yeah, so before they're allowed to leave the gym, they got to break their own limiting beliefs. So I'll explain a little bit about what they are, and yeah, so that'll be fun. I'm going to start trying to incorporate that sort of stuff into our classes as well, rather than just the gratefulness and mindfulness elements as well. So try and put in some practical exercises that can help people just realize what's going on with themselves.
You just gave me an idea. I've got some tiles in the garage.
Yeah. I was really surprised by how expensive they are. Those little those tiles, I was like, wow. Yeah. I even went to I went to the Bunnings here, which is like a Home Depot sort of place, and they were expensive there. So I was like, I'll have a look online. Exactly the same price. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I tell you what not to do. I learned that living back in Poland, we had a church opposite our dojo, and they took their roof tiles off, so we go and stole for you. They are unbreakable stuff. If you steal from a church, they are unbreakable. You will be damaged. The God gonna have revenge.
Everybody will leave feeling like their limiting beliefs are ingrained in themselves.
um, you're doing a lot of, I've seen a free stuff for your customers, and I'm doing the
Mm.
same thing. What I wanted to do is to pick your brains about how do you get funding for this stuff, because I found, and I had a post today on a social media saying that at least in UK, I spoke with quite a few big founders. We've got like National Lottery and stuff like that, and they don't really see the benefits of martial arts to people. It seems to be that every other sport and activity has got like ambassadors. In the UK, there's lack of it. If everybody looks at it through the lens of a videos, TV shows that, oh look, he's a tough guy, he's gonna have a black belt, he's just gonna be mindless fighting and stuff. How do you approach that in Australia?
It's amazing. I think it was 2 years ago now. Martial arts, traditional martial arts, not MMA or boxing or anything like that. It has to be traditional karate and yoga were actually put in evidence-based treatments, which means then you can start looking at getting funding and stuff like that, because there's been a lot of
Mm.
research done on it. But they got taken out. I'm not exactly sure why. I think that they said that the studies that were on it were there was a couple of faults in them. I would have assumed that they would have been redone and put in, because they definitely work, especially if you're mixing them with some mental health and trauma work. They definitely work. So at the moment, for us getting funding, we just ask for sponsors for the
Mm.
community. So Lifelong Dental in Lara actually sponsored us $1,000 yesterday.
Oh,
So
cool.
that just goes to cover our trainer, and we have a counsellor that's in every session as well. So it goes to cover their wages for however many sessions it'll cover, and we ask for donations. And if people haven't got it, don't worry about it. We never ask, but there's just a tin sitting there.
Mm.
But we try and get companies and other people to sponsor it. We've had a car club sponsor. We've had a couple of individuals sponsor, like 4 or 5 classes.
Mhm.
And then at the end of the year, we've got a big ride on, which is essentially a gala, like a charity thing. So all the money
Mhm.
raised goes to help us throughout the year. We do barbecues, and we've got a butcher that sponsors the meat. We've got Routley's Bakery who sponsors the bread, and then same deal. The funny thing is we never really get anything back, not even like a $2 coin, but
Mhm.
we're happy to do it anyway, because it's just fun as well. It's really rewarding for us to do it. So basically, we self-fund it when we haven't got any sponsors.
Mhm.
Uh, so that's the hard part. But we have created the Mental Health Militia, which is like a how do I explain it? It's not a bike club. It's just a bike group that all ride together, and we do lots of things for the community. But we have applied for our DGR status and charity status. All the
Mhm.
paperwork is in. It's just a waiting game, and in Australia, I'd say it's much the same for you guys. It's slow. Getting
It is
paperwork
very,
ticked
very
off,
slow. Yeah.
it costs a lot of money. So for the last 2 years, we've been raising money, doing our charity events and things like that, to be able to pay somebody to do so we needed a lawyer and an accountant and a bookkeeper and all these professionals to actually apply for it for us. So the last 2 years was about raising enough money. It cost us about 8 grand to put in the application. And then when the application's approved and we finally get our DGR status, that means all the charity donations will be tax write-offs. So that'll give more of incentive for businesses to do that. And we'll be able to apply for funding. So we're going to pay for a grant writer to come in and write grants for us to hopefully do that. And their whole job will be to look for grants that suit us, so that hopefully we don't have to try and say, can people please sponsor us every couple of weeks? Yeah,
How
because
hard
the
was for
funding's tough.
how hard was for you to reach out to the businesses? Because this is the one thing that I'm lacking. I'm comfortable teaching, I'm comfortable doing seminars, but reaching out to like companies and say, hey, we're doing this, it's great, amazing. I really struggle with that, and I try to find the most efficient ways, not how to do it because you just send a letter or go to them, but convince myself that it's not going to be as scary, or I'm not going to make my fool of myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, so I don't like doing that stuff. And like I said, I'm trying to back out of social media these days. I never ever wanted to be on social media. It's not something that I ever wanted to do. I was the last out of all of my friend group to have social media. But in this day and age, you need to have it. And to get my business to where I wanted it to, and to get the charity to where I wanted it to, I needed to do social media to get the awareness out there. And now the awareness is out there. I'm slowly backing out of it, like personally, and then it'll be done from more of a charity and a company standpoint. So that way it won't be my face on everything. While getting noticed walking down the street, it's fun and stuff like that. It's also, I don't know, sometimes I go down there, I go down the shops and I'm like, oh, are people going to come up and say hi today? You know what I mean? So sometimes I just prefer to sink back. But what it did do for me is, when you have a certain amount of followers, that opened up opportunities, because people ended up, they contact you because they hope that, you give them a shout out on your page and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the social media really, really helped us, because now when we're looking for sponsors, we can say, if you sponsor one of our groups or sponsor our event or something like that, you will get a shout out across our social media with, 60 odd thousand followers and all this sort of stuff. And that helps, unfortunately. So but it really does pay to be able to give people something. And I don't know. Yeah, it gives us something to offer, rather than just saying, hey, can you please chop us out?
Yeah.
Let's just say, if you do chop us out, we'll give you a huge shout out, and we're going to put a banner up in our facility. So every year when we do the ride, we get a big banner made up with all the sponsors, and then that banner gets put up in the gym all year round. So, a lot of people swing past and see it. We give them shout outs throughout the year on all the pages, and through the networking that we've done through the charity and through Complete Health Geelong over the last 5 years, we've got a pretty big database now of emails, and we do weekly newsletters. So we'll just throw in somewhere like a little tag saying, if anybody wants to sponsor, please do. I did a post last night, saying, if anybody wants to sponsor our
I shared
event.
it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, so that's about the extent of us seeking sponsorships. You can join, Chamber of Commerce's and business groups and like BNI and all that sort of stuff, and then go and do a talk. But that costs money to join those things as well.
Yeah.
So when you're doing everything just off little community donations, it's very hard to do that. And besides that, I don't like getting up in front of a heap of people and saying, hey, can I have some funds, please? It's similar to yourself. So the social media thing really, really helped.
You see,
Yeah.
I've become a influencer as well with my podcast and the YouTube channel, and I got a backpack for testing, those earpods, and but sometimes it's very funny, because I was just finishing teaching on Friday in my one of my groups, coming out reading an email. Oh, we would like to test the toys. We're selling them all over the Europe and stuff. And I thought, well, yeah, I've got 2 kids, could be fine. So I replied quickly, yes, I would love to test it. And I look on the lady's Instagram. It wasn't that kind of toys. It was well, you should have put an adult in front of it. So it's it made me laugh. So
we had somebody message the page today. I just shared it to the boys for a bit of a laugh, saying that they're part of a white nationalist group, and
oh,
because
wow.
of that, Yeah, because of that, they're being kicked out of a lot of groups, and they're wanting to hire a hitman and asked if we knew any. So I'm hoping that it was all a joke, but yeah, you get some pretty strange things when you start getting a few followers actually coming to your page.
Yeah, especially when you've got the background in the bikers, and now there's a lot of stories about bikers. So wow, you must know people.
Yeah, that's what everybody assumes. Yeah. But you're doing really cool stuff with your karate for mental health. Like, I
Uh,
think that that's catching on everywhere. Like, I tagged you in that post the other day with my good friend Dennis from Run That Rehab, and I
mhm,
think it's Taekwondo from America.
yeah.
They've got their own magazine and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be doing some cool stuff, and everybody's starting to implement this into their gyms now. I know most of the gyms down here in Geelong have, and then in Melbourne you've got that. I don't know if you've seen that left right hook, but right as in writing.
No. Hmm.
So it's on Netflix. There's a documentary. It's called Left Right Hook. They do journaling with a heap of women that have been through domestic violence and sexual assault and stuff like that. So they journal and let out all their emotions, and then they go do a boxing session, and they actually get male trainers from the gym, and they get
Hmm.
to essentially put them in and do some sparring, but they get to just punch the crap out of a heap of men. And
No, cool.
it's a brilliant documentary if anybody's watching. It can be pretty triggering, but it's fantastic. They do a really good job.
Mm. Yeah, you've got as well Georgia doing the trauma-informed kickboxing as well
Yep.
in Australia. I really like what she does. Yeah, in UK, there's a lot of dojos implementing now the karate for mental health movement. Like I said, we created that course. It sells quite well. I done it very cheaply because I couldn't find through the UK government anything at that time that would suit me and didn't bankrupt me, and it was not geared for martial arts. So like no
Mm.
behaviors in a gym, in relation to how the karate helps you, how the progression through the belts can impact your view of yourself and how that transfer to the life and stuff like that. So I thought, let me do something that I would like to learn when I started. And then I have to say it's very popular. It's not super popular, but it's getting there. But I notice now that most of the like coaching um, bodies in UK now doing a mental health awareness courses as well, but they're
Mm.
much more expensive. So, but
Yeah.
then they've got the backing of the government, and I don't yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah. So how are you funding it at the moment? Are you just all self-funded, or are you getting sponsorships anywhere or
Um,
any
so
funding?
so in UK, it was a recognition of how difficult it is to run charity, and then they created a community interest company, which is pretty much like limited company, but all the income have to be put into community projects, and that allows you to apply for the funding from the governing bodies, government, charity funders and stuff like that. So we are operating since October officially. We have one grant from our local council for 12 weeks test trial session. We've got 12 people regularly coming, few dropping in, and now I'm learning to write correctly applications. And it's great because they give you a feedback what you done wrong and stuff
Mm.
like that. The problem we had with the Sports England, karate was in the Olympics, right? And UK had a representation. But the Sports England says that karate is not recognized as a sport, so they cannot fund me because there is no national body, no national governing body, because there is so much infighting in karate and politics that there is no
Mm.
one recognized body. And they said, well, there are ways around it, but on every time it takes 6 to 12 weeks for conversation, and it's not like you can correct the stuff. You have to start the process again.
Mm.
And just the bodies are not very responsive. I think after COVID, everybody's got the excuse, oh, we're super busy. And it's like they meant to come back to me last week. The guy rang me after 4 weeks. Oh, sorry, we missed completely connection with you. I'm really sorry. Somebody's gonna be on it next week. Well, it's
Mm.
third week now, and still nobody contacted me. You can't ring them because data protection, It's just through email, and the email seems to be not being read. So it's very frustrating at the moment. But you know, trying and moving across, putting myself out there, which I hate. But I went on like a charity conference, and funny enough, I think it's a life rewarding you with the little drips. So I went there, and the guy approached me, which it turns up we met like 10 years ago, and he was kind of on a level like me doing stuff, and now he's a CEO of a voluntary action Surrey West. Thank you, Ian, for your help, which specializes in connecting companies like mine and charities into funders. So I've got next week meeting with him to try to figure out who will sponsor the CIC, because there is a problem. People don't understand it yet. It's only operational for 10 years, and some funders will not, they don't understand what it is. They think it's a company. And I had a feedback like, oh, who that is? He's going to run away with our money. I applied for £2,000. I don't think so I can get far away with £2,000.
Yes, I'd love to start a governing body that's for all martial arts, instead of just, this type, this type, this type, but one that's for all of them, with the underlying thing being mental health. So I'd love the whole purpose of this organization would be to get all martial arts put into being an evidence-based treatment, with a program that can help teach instructors how to put this mental health or trauma work in their own studios across the world. I think it would be a fantastic idea. So if there's anyone out there that's got knowledge in that sort of stuff or would be interested, get in touch with us.
Yeah, I would love to do that as well, because my end goal is to have karate or martial arts being recognized, that you go into doctors, they can recommend you a dance therapy, the music therapy. Why not karate therapy or martial art therapy? It doesn't have to be full contact. It's just working on the parts, forms, punching bag, whatever, partner work without excessive contact. But it would be nice to have that framework that you go into doctors and they tell you, hey, this is your options. You don't need to do martial arts. You can do dance, but as well, if you don't fancy dance, you can go to martial arts. So I'm on board with you, and if we're looking at it, it can be created. I spoke yesterday with, I don't know if you know Sensei Tuari Dawson, the invisible sensei. He used to work in mental health support with domestic abuse in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So your neighbor. So
Yeah.
he's interested as well. So I said to him that I speak with you first and connect you together, because he does a fantastic job and got a huge experience in that stuff. So if we do kind of dot it around the world, we might have a more chance to actually do it, and seriously think about things like that, and try to put that in place.
Yeah, definitely. I just had Richie Hardcore in the gym last week. He's touring Australia, so he's got a gym in New Zealand as well. That's why I thought of him. And he's a sociologist, and he's going around the world doing talks on things like how pornography is affecting us, and what else was he doing talks on? Just really, really cool stuff. He's going around to schools and just doing heaps of talks on one of his specialties is complex trauma too. It's funny, when he was in our gym, we were talking about what we do, and he's like, I do that. And then he's like, well, I do that too. And it's very similar. So a lot of gyms are doing this now. So I think it's really important if we touch out and he's an influencer as well. So he's got a lot of followers. So I think the more we can get people on board, the better. It's like, have you seen the Cave of El Doom? Dean, the trainer from America, who's getting kids from low socioeconomic places and getting them in and teaching them how to be men. He's like breaks them down during sessions and they start crying and that. And then he teaches them that emotions are good when they're crying and really helps them. He puts them through this really good program. He's definitely someone that you should have a look at getting on here. He's a very influential guy, especially in the karate space. He's doing some really good stuff.
I will have a look. That's the problem. I try to not look on other people's, because then I'm wasting time watching other people instead of doing stuff. So I like yourself. I done, it's now nearly 2 years. I done a conscious decision that I want to work on the ground. So that's my main focus, working with the groups of people. instead of being recognized all over the world online and have kind of just views, right? The views
Yeah,
are
yeah,
not really translating to, at least I don't feel like I done anything in just views. I understand that like my
yeah.
books helping people and have a feedback on that, but I really enjoy being on the floor. And I noticed that more I put an effort into the social network, the less of my time and attention is in the groups in the physical world. And
Mm.
I done just like you do it now. I kind of drifted away from the social media and work with people. But you have to be balanced nowadays, because if you don't have a
Yeah.
recognition, like you said, it's more difficult to get their support and funding because you don't have a leverage.
Yeah, and it's funny too. Like I like that you mentioned that because last week I've been having this lot of like identity crisis myself, and I've been thinking, why am I feeling a little bit off lately? There's something that's not sitting right with me, and it turned out I did some deep thinking about it and talking about it with
Mhm,
some people, and I wasn't living myself to my authenticity. So
mhm,
my whole schooling and everything like that, I was doing counseling, I was doing one-on-one sessions, and I was doing coaching and all this sort of stuff. And since the social media, I found myself becoming you start looking for the likes. You start
mhm.
getting addicted to that little dopamine hit and the shares,
Yeah.
and I've been putting way too much time into social. For somebody who didn't want social media, I've started putting way too much time into it, and that drained me. And I didn't actually have capacity to do one-on-ones anymore. I didn't have
Mm,
capacity to add more programs all the time. I always just felt really tired and drained. So when last week when I decided that's it, I'm going to start backing out of social media, within 2 days, I was still posting because I've still got content that I've pre-made, but just giving myself that space, I actually made up a heap more content, but it's all to promote that I'm going to start doing one-on-ones again
mm,
in a few various different formats. And I actually wrote two other courses on trauma. It actually just deciding that freed up my mental capacity and my mental load to
mm,
be able to actually want to get back on the tools, so to speak, and actually
mm.
work with people on a one-on-one basis. So it's exactly right. And the social media can suck the life out of you if you
Yeah.
let it, if you're not conscious of it. And I let it get the better of me for a little bit.
Well, but if you want to get good at it, you need to put an effort in it, right?
Yeah.
It takes time to, like you've been describing in your videos, it takes time to find what works for you and how to do it. And editing is just a nightmare.
Mm.
And putting the text in there, checking the text, reading what the AI is changing, especially with my accent, it's just like gibberish in there. And it's time consuming, and I can't be bothered with it, right?
Yeah.
One of my friends, his dream was always to be big on the social media, and he put effort into that, but then on the seminars and stuff he was putting people off because he was more attached to his camera than actually working with people. And
Mm.
I observed that with quite a few people, and I've decided that's not for me. I'm old fashioned. I like to, as much as I don't like to talk to people, I like to be with people. That makes sense.
Yeah, it
Y-
does.
You
I
know,
totally get that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So let me talk for 2 3 hours on the seminar and then leave me alone in my room.
I'm exactly the same. Yeah. I'll finish a class and then I'll come home, chill for a little bit, and then I'll start working on something. You
Mm,
need to replenish and fill your own cup. But it was just funny that we're in the same sort of places that like I guess that when you're trying to accomplish certain things, you do need social media, and that's
mm,
the it's like myself right now trying to diet when you use food to emotionally regulate. It's like you're on this perpetual cycle of I'm not going to eat, I feel bad, I'm going to eat, and then it's the same
mm,
as with like you need food, you can't get rid of it. And the problem is when you're in the space of like me and you doing these free community stuff, you need the social media to get the awareness out there, to get the
mm.
sponsorships, to bring in the participants, to make it free. So you need the social media, but you want to get off it as well. So again, you're on this perpetual cycle of how do I manage and balance both of them?
Yeah, especially that the attention from social media, it goes in waves. So one week you've got like 3-4 days when people are, hooray, this is great, you awesome, and then you've got 2 weeks where nobody likes anything, and you're thinking like, shit, what I'm doing wrong? Nobody likes me, and nobody supports me. And look at Troy, he's doing such a great stuff. Look at Tuari, he's doing awesome stuff, and I'm so shit, and I don't have ideas for catchy content. And I think that's what destroys people. I've got one of the autistic students in my dojo, and literally when he goes on, he's got a very successful TikTok channel. He likes to dress up. He's 26, but mentally he's maybe 12, 13,
Yeah.
and he likes to dress up as a Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
And the amount of shit he's getting from people, despite that he always says, "Oh, I'm on a spectrum, I'm autistic," in his description, his
Mm.
stuff, and it just ruins him. He didn't turn up other day for class because he said, "Oh, I had a really bad day." And after investigation, he said, "Oh yeah, I was on TikTok, I had a bad comment." He doesn't care about the all positive comments. He always that one negative sticks out. So now he's taking a break from the social media, and he's better. He's back to normal. We've been
Yeah.
today doing
Yeah.
show with us. We supported Sari Sports Park, which got a 15 years anniversary. They asked us to do two demos, so we done that. He turned in, we done everything, no problems, right? But
Yeah.
since he sits on social media, it just ruins him. So it's very difficult to find the fine balance between those things. But
Absolutely. My first viral video was probably about 3 years ago. It's like 10,000 short of 1 million. And it had something like 600 comments, were all positive. There was one comment that was negative, ruined me for like 4 days. I was so bent. I just had these intrusive thoughts over and over, thinking about what they said, and it just killed me for like 4 days. Doesn't matter that there was I'll say 600 good comments. This one comment just killed me, and it was the only negative comment on the post. So I had to do a lot of soul searching and stuff to overcome that. And now that doesn't bother me. It's just part of the deal now. But at the
yeah,
time, it did. So unless you've done a lot of inner work, like it can really, really get to you. And I've done a lot. I've done a lot of therapy, and it still bothered me. So yeah, I can absolutely understand why it would. But you're never
yeah,
going to please everybody. That's the thing.
yeah, exactly. So I think the best advice I had, I can't remember who said I had earlier. Apologize if you're listening to it, but there's only three types of people: those who gonna love you, those who gonna hate you, and those who give a shit. So,
Yep.
there's always one of those three. So,
Yeah.
so
Because
how
I
is
see you do get a bit of it, and then you post about it. You
yeah, yeah,
use
yeah,
the negative comments as content. I'm like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
funny.
I love a good troll. Again, somebody said to me, and it's true, that your most faithful fans are people who hate you because they
Yeah,
want to know everything you do just to comment.
yeah,
So they preparing, they turn my algorithm on. So, but
absolutely.
I used to really get upset by the comments, and just like you said, it was eating me for a long time. But then I decided that I will never allow myself to get emotional with the post. So I always come to it like it's not at me, it's at the video, and I try to be super polite. Um, Try to put some stupid jokes in there just to annoy people, the trolls. But usually it ends up when I offer them to join our mental health course because then they don't want to seem that they are crazy. So
That's it. You got to kill them with kindness.
yeah, exactly. So how's your
I've got
work
a
on your? Yeah, go on.
I've got a post at the moment going on Instagram, and it's getting heaps and heaps of comments, and every single comment is negative. And I'm just watching it now. We're just with popcorn eating it, going. Some of the comments are funny, like they're negative, but now I see the fun in it. And I'm
Yeah,
just like, wow, that was clever, man. Like props, that was a clever comment. Because people think that they know everything and they don't, especially when you're talking about your own life. Nobody can judge your
mm,
life and what's happened to you more than you can. You're
mm,
the professional of your life. So if I've said something that's happened to me and then other people are saying it doesn't happen, it's like, well, that's
mm.
a them issue. It's not a me issue.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I just enjoy the ride. And and that post wouldn't be going viral without them all commenting negatively, just because they've had a negative experience and I had a positive one. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, the haters make you famous.
Yeah. How's your work on a book going? Last time we spoke,
Yeah,
you sent a draft, and how is going?
yeah. It's funny. I've sort of taken a step back after reading your book, Karate for Mental Health, the one with the black cover,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that I'm actually writing one exactly the same,
Cool.
but it's different. So it's not about karate or anything like that. It's I'm actually interviewing ex-outlaw motorcycle club members who have turned their lives around.
Oh,
So
cool.
I've got a list of 21 questions, and they're all from a mental health perspective. It's basically what happened in childhood that made you join an outlaw motorcycle club. What did you get out of it? What did it hinder you? Did you have any mental health conditions? Do you have any stories that you would like to tell? Is there any misconceptions that you'd like to talk about? And, just questions like that. And I've got 16 stories so far, which is
Cool.
pretty cool. So at the front of the book, I'm writing like a history of bike clubs, why they were invented and all this sort of stuff, and how they come about and what they originally intended to do. Just all factual. And then that'll lead into these stories. So I'm still collecting stories. So yeah, the idea from that book came from your book when I read that. Where did I read that? In Wales, I think. We were in a little blue brick cottage out in the middle of a farm, just having a bit of downtime for a week. We had a little fire going, and yeah, I read your books there. So that was really inspiring. But the trauma book, I'm still sitting with that one at the moment because I actually just wrote a 40-week course based on the book. I had a 3-month course based on that book, and it proved to be too triggering for some people. Like they couldn't sort of work their way through it. It was just too heavy. So I've broken that down even more and put it into a 40-week book, which will hopefully be easier to get through, and that'll be done with a support group and all that sort of stuff. So it's all the content there, just spread out. And yeah, so I've still got it sitting there, and I've got a publisher. I just haven't broached the subject with that one yet. So because I've decided to step back from social media and step back from the spotlight, so to speak, I've thought, what am I going to do with this book now? Because that's just putting me more out there. So I still will do it because the profits from the proceeds from the book are going to help go to fund our free programs. So I will still do it. It's just a matter of how, when, and in what sort of fashion. Yeah, because my publisher's all about massive book releases and guest speakers and all of that type of thing. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to back out of it. And another thing that this taking a step back has done, it's given me a bit more space. So the trauma talk that I usually do at like workplaces and things like that, I've actually streamlined it a little bit more, and I'm actually getting the capacity to start doing that again. So yeah, so I've sort of turned that book into my Bible, so to speak, that all of my courses and things run from. Yeah, so I'm sort of using it as a guide.
Cool. Can you intrigue me now? So what was the original purpose of a motorcycle clubs, and how did that went into a kind of crime as is described in all the videos and posts and
Yeah.
bad press?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. There's a guy from I can't remember his name. He was like Sonny Barger's number 2, I think. There's a documentary on Stan, I believe it is. There's an ex-Hell's Angel on there, and he says, which is 100% true. He says that motorcycle clubs aren't criminal organizations. There just happens to be criminals in motorcycle clubs, which is 100% true. That's been my experience. For people that are hearing this that are going to be like, that's not true, all bikers are criminals. I was in one, and that's exactly my experience. But there's good ones, there's bad ones. They all just happen to love motorbike rides and love wearing a patch, and they're in there for whatever reasons they want to be in there. But the organizations or the motorcycle clubs or gangs, whatever you want to call them, are not actually criminal organizations themselves. What happened is the war was on. So the Vietnam War was doing its thing, and when all the retired servicemen come back from the war, they were getting called baby killers. They were getting called this. They were hated by their own people, especially in America. They were just they had no support. It's pretty famously known that all their vets didn't get any mental health support, all suffering from severe PTSD, all of this type of stuff. So another thing that coincided with that is they had a massive surplus of motorbikes when they returned, because they had all these motorbikes running around doing their thing. And when they come back, they had all these motorbikes. So the army was selling them cheap. And some of the guys that come back went, you know what, let's start a motorbike group that supports each other. Mm-hmm. So that's originally how it essentially started as a men's group, as a place for a heap of guys to come and get support from each other that were basically exiled from the general population and hated by the general population. I know the club I was in used to have a few different sayings, and one of them was, the only ones who love us are us. Mm-hmm. You know, and these all date back to that sort of era. So you've got all these people with nowhere to go. They've been ostracized by the general public. In fact, they fought for their country and they've come back, and now they've just been absolutely smashed. It's been spit at, called baby killers, no support. So they all got together and formed these motorcycle clubs, or groups they were originally. And then from there was a brawl. There was a big fight going on. And when they were in court, one of the judges said, you guys basically make up 1% of the population that don't conform to societal norms. And that's how the term the 1%er come out.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So what the 1% patch on all motorcycle clubs is essentially saying that they're the 1% of people that don't conform, but they don't conform because they basically got shit on when
PTSD. Right. Yeah.
When they come back, and they were all just trying to support each other. So, you know, that, and as soon as you put a term to something like that, it bonds people. Mm-hmm. You know, so now all of a sudden it's an us against them. It's us against the government type thing. And it just sort of grew from there.
Super interesting. I'm not the motorcycle person. My dad used to be into motorcycle, but not in Poland. There was no, at least I'm not aware of motorcycle gangs. But he loves motorcycles. I have no feelings to motorcycle. Give me 4 wheels and I'm happy. But it's always interesting concept and history. So I'm sure the book's gonna be a very interesting read, and I'm volunteer to buy and support.
No, thank you.
Your cause. So how many people you've got weekly going to your sessions?
At the moment, probably, I don't know, all up, probably about 100.
Wow.
Yeah. Coming. So we've got 150 participants with physical and mental disabilities. And then on top of that, then we've got all the ones that come for free. There's probably another, I don't know, 40 on that pop in and out. So I guess, you know, there's near on 200 people that that just come and go. There's some that are 100% regular. They always come. And then you've got the odd few who come and go, that type of thing. Yeah. So it's pretty big.
How long it took you to build up? Because, you know, we started in 12 weeks. So 6 weeks ago, I started my free sessions. And it's quite slow with advertising. Although we're living in a big town, there's not much, you know, I reach out to schools. They are not, that's not for children. But eventually, after 6 weeks, they managed to put my advert in at free. And I'm feeling like the free is putting people off, because if it's free, it must be shit.
Yes, exactly. So if you talk to any business advisor or anyone, they say you need to put a price on it. Otherwise, it devalues your service. And that's 100% true what we've found. We've got a whole cool room full of protein powders and supplements that were donated from this place called Feed Me Ballerine, who's an awesome, they just do awesome stuff for the community. And they donated us pallets and pallets of protein. We couldn't give it away. We were just like, and they're huge bags. They're like worth $180 a bag. And we're like, come and get it. There's no catch. Come and grab a bag and, stop buying your protein powders. We've got it. Come and get it. We're not charging. We couldn't give it away. As soon as we put gold coin donation, we had people showing up flat out. It's and it's the same with our free programs. It's because we've got the mental health and disability service with 150 participants already. That was able to bring in some awareness to our groups because we started offering it to all of them. So then all of a sudden we had, 3 or 4 people coming to our groups as it is. And then we were able to show that there was people coming, and that sort of created more people coming. And so now we just say the cost of coming to our groups is you might be in a photo, but let us know if you don't want to be in the photo. We can, black out your face or something like that. But the free definitely hinders us, I think. So it's a really hard thing to get around.
Yeah, well, if I put the price, then I'm excluding people who really are needing help and they not afford it. So I was thinking that I'm gonna do probably similar to what you do. I've got a donation box, but I'm gonna try to promote it more as not the free classes, but donation-based classes.
Yeah.
So if you can put the pound, put the pound. If you cannot, don't worry about it. Like you said, right?
Yeah.
For us, it's the same. I've got a half of the students who don't pay a penny because their situation is so dire that it's difficult, especially now in UK. It's a huge financial crisis, and everything went up really, really a lot, and people just can't afford stuff. So it's kind of tricky to balance this kind of. We want to help, but we don't want to embarrass you. I feel like some people are just embarrassed coming for free.
Yeah.
So
we're going to do that as well. We're going to do we might take out the free and just put donation based. If you've got it, throw it in. If you don't have it, no questions asked. I think that's what we have some people that we haven't said that really before, and we do get some people that come in and do put money in the tin anyway. But yeah, as soon as you put free, people just think it must be shit and they don't come. We're in the heart of the low socioeconomic place here in Geelong, and we thought that by offering free, we would just get bombarded with people wanting to come and train, especially when there's 2 gyms very close to us, big gyms, like some of the biggest gyms in Australia, that do same as what we do, and they charge an exorbitant amount of money to do it. And our trainers are actually trainers at those gyms, and we still struggle to get people in through the door, and we're doing it free. So like the mind boggles sometimes, but it's the psychology behind it. Yeah. So we're gonna have to change how we do that as well. But in saying that, our classes are nearly at capacity now. We've only got a small gym. So one thing that made me really proud, I'm not sure if you saw the post, is on Monday, the women's group, I was standing at the front, and some of the ladies from the women's group come out, and they're like, just so you know, we're putting in another session next on Thursdays now. And I was like, oh, hey, yes. They're like, yep, we've already talked to the coach and they're happy to do it. So, at 10 o'clock today, there's going to be another women's group starting that they started themselves. So it was like a really proud moment for me. Yeah, like they're enjoying it so much. They took it upon themselves to start a new class.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so I was pretty proud, and I've been sitting with that for the last couple of days. I've just been like, that's so cool. And we're hoping to put in more. So the more sponsorships we get, the more classes we'll put in. Where we've got a yoga instructor who donates her time to teach a yoga class, and she's great. So I'd like to get all different styles of martial arts and things. We're trying to put a music therapy class in as well, and all for free. But yeah, I'd love to get a karate class going on down here as well. Yeah.
Cool. So do you own the building or do you rent it out?
No, we rent it, and we got very, very lucky with it too. I mean, like, it's a pretty rundown old place. We just made it look nice. We had to buy the kitchen, so we own the kitchen. So hopefully soon we can get some funding. We just missed out on a pretty big grant. only purely because we didn't have the DGR status. They said they would have loved to have given us it, and that would have got us into a brand new, awesome facility, which I'm hoping then will attract a lot of people to our free programs. Because all our classes. So last night for yoga, we pretty much used all the floor space, which was amazing. The boxing group last night, which is free as well, we probably could have fit, I don't know, 2 more couples in there. And the men's group, so what we've done is we sort of say, if you want to come and do the martial arts, come. If you just want to come and use the weights area while we're all training, you could do that too. So now what we're finding is we've got 5 or 6 people coming and just helping each other lift weights. And then while the martial arts groups are training, and then we all come together at the end, and people just go into it's really casual. And it's funny, I've never heard people laugh so hard in sessions. Like, it was just amazing. I was filming it the other day and everyone was just laughing their heads off during the cool down. And I'm like, that's what this is about, and it's something you don't really get from mainstream gyms. So I was really proud of how they're going. The only problem is when you're charging nothing for classes, you've got no money to invest in new facilities. So we're getting to the point where our classes are full, but that doesn't change the fact we can't afford to get a new facility.
We've got pretty much the same problem. Although there's something magical I think for some people, magical in a rundown gym. My best memories are in our gym in Poland, when every half year we had to take the equipment up because it was flooded by the river. And rusty old equipment, no fancy machines, and it was the best time ever, with that crew there, training. And we are our club at the moment is very nice, but it's going through the repairs. But because the Muay Thai owner is passionate about it, he doesn't charge people enough. So it's in the same position that we need money, but I don't have any money. He's putting a lot of heart in it, and we've got a really nice group, and we've got our staff upstairs renting from him, and the BJJ guys are renting as well, and it's a really nice atmosphere. I personally love that setup. I don't feel very comfortable in clinical gyms.
Yeah, there's one of the members of our mental health militia. You had him on, Brett. From he did Zendakai. They go to Thailand a couple of times a year, and they always go to Sichitong, I think it is, which is used to be still is one of the most famous gyms in Thailand, and it's also one of the most run down gyms. And you've got some pretty fancy gyms in Thailand now, 4 or 5 star resort style gyms, and they continually go back there. I think you're right. It gives you a bit of it gives you a bit of character training in gyms like that. So I'm actually thinking about going there this time too.
I've got that saying, and one of my friends does a retreat in a castle in Germany, which I teach often there. And he once asked me, we've got 100 people. There's not enough room in a gym. I'm thinking to do it outside, but it's going to be shitty weather. I said, well, just do it, because the pain fades away, but memory stays. And then you've got something cool. If you went through something hard and it's in the past, it always feels better. And you're I've got a cool story to tell people that, I got soaked on that castle. Those thunderstorms nearly hit me. I nearly got cooked, but I survived. And there was 100 of us, and, it was awesome. And that's how you build the, legend of the place or legend of the gym and stuff like that. So I do believe, and actually we were chatting with my students the other day, because I'm noticing, and that's one of my friends brought the attention. I don't know if you noticed that in yourself, but with age, my mojo goes down. Oh, I don't need to do that sparrings now. That's going to be a bit hard. I just do this, my kata here and stuff. So I decided that looking at Muay Thai, looking at the BJJ, the one thing they've got is that hard physical training. And I think suffering in push-ups and sit-ups and stuff like that brings people together. So we decided that we're gonna be putting it more back into as it used to be. So try to boost our testosterone a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I find it really hard now to, especially when I'm doing weights, to go those extra 2 reps that I know that
Mm,
I need to. I stop. It's like it just lost that absolute drive to go super hard.
mm,
So now that I've got other trainers teaching some of my classes, I go in their classes as a participant because I
mm,
know that they're going to push me. So like
yeah.
last night we did some hard rounds in class and on the bags, and it was great. I actually hadn't hit the bags for a long time as my shoulders, and I've been rehabbing them fairly hard over the last
Mhm.
12 months, and I thought I'd give them a test out last night, and yeah, she pushed us pretty hard at the end, and it felt great, and it was a lot harder than what I would have pushed myself. So,
Mm.
and that's what I try and do too. Like, as soon as my shoulders have improved a great deal more, I'll go back to jiu-jitsu, which I hate training, but I think it's an essential thing to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
People are like, oh, I love jiu-jitsu. I love it. I love it. And I'm like, I hate it. I don't like the second I'm there till the second I end. Like doing the actual rolling, I hate it. But the moment I finish, I'm like, holy crap, that was good. I really,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
really like, I love the feeling after doing jiu-jitsu, but I don't like the training jiu-jitsu because it's hard. It
Yeah,
really is.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
try when you're small like me. I'm the smallest in the gym, and our coach other day said, "Oh, it's only 10 of us. Cool. Hour and a half sparring, 8 minutes rounds. Oh, fuck
Yeah.
off."
8 minute round.
But I was really surprised because I'm one of there's a few people with my age, and we finished all the rounds, and I didn't sit a single one, and I thought like, wow, I've got still energy in the tank. I could go about 2, 3 rounds more. So it's like,
Yeah.
45 years old, not bad, not bad.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the younger people they've been sitting on the side and couldn't do it, so I think I'm just too stubborn for it.
Yeah. And you get a bit of flack for that, don't you, with your karate, because you incorporate other things that you learned from other styles into your
Of
karate and that sometimes, and people don't like that when it's traditional.
Nah, no, no, no. I'm an outcast, but I look at it. I'm not hindered by the traditional kind of shackles. I can do whatever I want, so
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mine. That actually was watching today a documentary, and what old Japanese guy was saying because in karate now, modern karate is like, oh, your sensei tells you when you can teach and when you learn stuff. And the Japanese guy said, "Oh no, my teacher, when he went to the other teacher, he decided he knows enough to start teaching. So he put the power on the person who's learning, not the controlled by the somebody who is teaching, right?"
Yeah.
So I'm this I'm promoting this that it's your journey. If you don't like somebody, you can go somewhere else. You're not attached to one Muay Thai teacher. You can go to other gyms and try what works for you. But in karate, it's still that kind of blindfolded, follow my master, and I think that's why it's so much abuse in karate. Um,
Mm.
Not necessarily sexual abuse, but a like power-driven abuse.
Yeah.
I'm your master, and you will be following me, and to the day, death till I tell you that you can go somewhere and do something else. So
Mm.
it's a funny world.
And that creates like there's a like you were saying earlier, there's so much drama in
Mm,
karate, and these schools don't like that school, and this ones don't like that one, and because that's part of the problem, I suppose, with getting it evidence
yeah,
based,
yeah,
because like you said, there's no real governing body because everyone fights with each other.
yeah.
It
Plus,
should be
there's so
it
many.
should be, oh, you do that a little bit different. Well, that's better than what I do. So I'm going to incorporate that. Then
Mm,
when I was in Korea and trying Taekwondo, he showed me a way to do a spinning back kick that I've never done before, and it was
mhm,
better than the way I've been taught to do it. So now I do it like he told me how to do it.
mm.
And
But that's natural, right?
yeah, you've got to incorporate what works and what doesn't. If this move makes more sense, well, do that. It's just how
Yeah.
it should be. You can teach the variation, and so both of them, because that's what I do. I'll show the way I got shown for the particular style that I'm teaching, and then I'll be like, however, when I was in Korea, a Taekwondo guy showed me how to do it like
Mm,
this. I'll let you guys choose which one you want to keep, and that's exactly what I do for like 10 different things in my classes. I'll always let people choose, and everyone's got different body types. Everyone's got different coordination levels, so that people have got to take what suits them.
Yeah, the problem in karate is, and I think traditional martial arts compared to sports and combat sports, is that you can hide behind that belt and you can go through all the way to the being a master without doing one sparring.
Yeah.
And then, you've got the belt and it's expected to have a respect, right? And you can hide behind it because I'm a master. I don't have to do it. You need to do what I tell you. In combat sports, the ring, the mats, just expose everything, right? If you cannot handle yourself, you just nobody. But in traditional ones, you've got that belt, and nobody gonna touch you because you're the 5th dan super grand master from the universe, master of universe, and it's easy to hide.
Yeah,
But,
100%.
Yeah, sometimes I really when I got that response from the Sports England that there's no national governing body, I was thinking, fuck, why did I choose karate? Why did I not go to Muay Thai? Why did I not do something else that actually is done with people not arguing all the time? But I don't know. Something inside me, it's like, you will change all this. You will do the good job. I suppose I like, like lost cases.
Yeah. You like fighting for the underdog.
Yeah. Hey, Troy. It's 1:00 in the morning here. I need to get kids in the morning to school. Lovely to have you again. And I'm hoping that let's do the tests, what's worked for our groups, changing, from free to donations, exchange it in a couple of months and see what the conclusions are and what people should do. I think that's going to be useful for everybody.
Yeah, same. Absolutely. And if anybody wants information on the mental health and trauma stuff, or can help us maybe do a proper governing body that can, bring everybody together instead of dividing people, get in contact.
Cool. So if you're listening to it or if you're watching it, go to Troy's website. You can support his project and donate some money towards his stuff. If you rather do it in UK, go to my site. There's a donate button. You can donate it, and all goes to a free classes for people who need it.
Awesome. Thanks heaps for having me on. Cool. It's always a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you.
No worries.
Well done for listening to all of it. You are a superhero. Thank you very much for your support. And if you could leave us that review on a podcast platform, that would be amazing. I appreciate your time, appreciate your support, and I wish you all the best until the next one.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.